what's going on, everyone? This is Marlon from Fishing Addicts Northwest. There's a lot of Columbia River Summer Steelhead that are flooding into the river right now. And so what we thought we'd do is we'd give you guys our setup that we're using to target these fish. There's a lot of different methods out there that people are using, but this is what we found to be the most effective when we're out here targeting these summer steelhead. This is Bill from Team Dusky. He's the one that showed me how to do this setup. So what we're gonna do is walk you guys through exactly from start to finish how we're catching these fish out here on the Columbia. All right, Bill, so what do we start off with here if people are looking to do this three-way setup from the Columbia?
Okay, so we need three-ways.
Okay, so we got three-way swivels. So we have your first one, and this one's going to your main line, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and then what do we got from there?
Then we got 3 feet to our next three-way. It's 30-pound mono.
Okay, do you like 30-pound kind of what you stick with?
Yeah, usually.
Okay, cool.
That's a happy medium.
So then so we start with one three-way tied to your main line. Then you have 30-pound of 3 feet monofilament line to your next three-way.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we go another 3 feet of 30-pound mono to our next three-way.
Okay, so what we got is three-ways with 2 sections of 30-pound mono tied in between each of them.
Exactly.
Okay, and then what do you got going on down here at the end to finish it off?
So down here, I have 8-pound tied onto a rock, and it goes to your bottom of your three-way. That's your breakaway. That way you can break off the fish, fight the fish freely.
Okay, and how do you, what do you think for dropper? Do you like to vary that 12 inches, 6 inches, 2 inches?
Usually I just stick with a good 8 to 12 inches.
Okay, so like an 8 to 12 inch dropper. And the reason we're using a rock here is because when Bill gets a bite, or any of us get a bite out here, what happens is sometimes that fish will hit it so hard that the rock will actually break. And the advantage to that is you're not fighting any lead, you're not fighting anything. All you're fighting is the fish and basically your lure. So you have a really big advantage there, especially on these ledges out here that we're fishing in the Columbia, so your lead doesn't get stuck on it. So that's your three-way setup to your dropper. After that, what are we tying on to our three-ways?
Onto our three-ways, we got a 2-foot lead line here, leader line, I'm sorry. Going to a 1/0 hook, a size 6 spinning glow with just a couple beads here with an egg loop. So you can put your shrimp on and egg loop the tail.
You're allowed to fish 3 hooks in the Columbia. So what we're doing is we're fishing 3 spin glows off each one of the three-ways with a, you said this is a 1/0?
1/0.
This is a 1/0 hook. What hook is this?
That's a Gamakatsu pre-barbless.
Okay. And you
Octopus.
like, these seem to be
They thread
good
on good with shrimp. They don't break the heads. Keeps it pretty clean.
Okay, cool. So we got the spin glow, 2 beads, and then a 1/0 Gamakatsu wide gap. Is that what you said?
Nope, it's just a octopus.
Just an octopus barb. Okay, so we got our 3 spin glows. So what are you using for bait on your hooks?
So I'm using coon shrimp here. I like to go with a medium, about a medium size, nothing too big. That's a decent one.
So for the steelhead, we're using like a medium to a smaller sized coon shrimp. And Bill cures his own coon shrimp. There's a lot of different companies out there that are making coon shrimp. There's Washington Coons, there's Ray's, there's D&G. My best advice to you is cure your own, because the problem is from the beginning of the Columbia all the way up to Vancouver, everyone's using the same coon shrimp because that's what people have access to. It's the easiest to get is go buy coon shrimp. So if you cure your own, it just sets you apart from what all these other fish are seeing, what all the fish are seeing, all the baits are seeing in the water. So Bill cures his own. These seem to work really good. So how do we rig these onto our spin glow?
Call it about the second knuckle or so. Come in here, these pre-barbless hooks go in real easy, real solid shrimp. Try to get some meat there, and then come out through the head very slowly. That way you don't break the shell. Everything's on there clean. Push the egg loop out. Pull that line a little bit. Loop it around the tail. Just pull it kind of snug, doesn't have to be too tight. You don't want to break the shrimp. Slide it down, and that's what you got.
Awesome, let's see what that looks like. Steelhead bait. Sweet, so let's see how you run this out. Let's see how you do this out here.
Yeah. Alrighty, so he's coming up in the boat here. Clear my line counter. Grab my rock.
So we're using a boat, a kayak, anything that you can float on, that you can get out into the river with.
Make it easier on him. I'm gonna walk out here.
This is why we wear our waders out here. It's still a little bit cold, so we're wearing our waders so we can walk out in the water. Basically what Westfall's doing is he's running this rock out with the boat, and Bill's watching his line counter.
What I'm doing here is my communication to him, since he's on the bank and he's got a loud motor, is I'm gonna put my arm up when the depth I like is acquired, which is right now.
And he's like, so he drops that rock, it hits bottom.
Put it in my rod holder here. I'm just gonna load it up lightly so I got good tension here. That way when the fish hits it, it'll break the rock and I can fight the fish freely.
So Bill, now that we got the setup dropped out there into the water column, can you kind of go over like what people you need for a general rod, reel, bell, rod holder, all that kind of stuff?
Exactly, so I'm using a Fish Strike rod holder. They sell them at Sportsman's Warehouse. Those are pretty good rod holders. Seems to pull the rod out easy. Using Lamoglass rods here. I'm using an Infinity 10 to 20. It's a 9.2 rod. So 9'2".
So anywhere in that like 9 to 10 foot range works pretty good for rods?
Exactly, better line angle coming down.
Okay.
Off your ledge.
And then what about reel? What do you got here?
And I'm running a low profile Okuma cold water. It's a great reel. Fits in your hand nice. Comes out of the rod holder easy. Gets good grip on it.
Okay, and then you're using braid, I see.
Yes.
Is this 50, 65?
60-pound braid.
Okay, so 60 pound braid. And why do you like the braid? I like it just because it cuts through the water better on
Cuts through the water, it cuts the weeds. And also, you know, there's no stretch. You got that little bit of mono on your triple rig setup, and that's enough stretch that you need. That way you can break the rock off and fight the fish clean.
Cool. All right, guys, so that's how you do it out here on the Columbia River for these summer steelhead. Well, at least that's how we're targeting them, and it seems to be a really, really effective method. These guys are the ones that taught me it. They have some very, very cool fishing content. Where can people find other stuff that you guys are putting out?
So we have a Facebook, Team Dusky. Also an Instagram, you can look up Team Dusky, and then we have a website at www.teamdusky.com. You can find us on any of those social media sites.
Cool. Thanks for watching. We hope you guys are catching some fish out there on the Columbia, and we'll see you on the river.
He's good.